Hey, I just want to show in this video how Macintosh computers are actually less expensive than PCs. PCs are actually more expensive, and I'm going to explain why that is. See, if you want to get a MacBook Pro, the cheapest one you'll be able to find is the 13-inch for $1,200. But you can get a Windows PC for about $400. And so because of this, people complain that Macs are so expensive. But I think if you do the math, then you'll find that in the long run, Macs are actually less expensive. Let me explain why. First, let's start with Microsoft Office. Most people buy Microsoft Office, Home and Student, which costs about $150, and it has these three programs in it: Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Okay, now most people that I know don't use PowerPoint and Excel. Most of the people that I know just want to do word processing with Microsoft Word. That's all they want. And yet they think that they're required to buy all three programs for $150 just to use Word. And they never even touch PowerPoint and Excel, most of the people I know. It would make more sense just to get Microsoft Word by itself, but it's still going to cost $140, which is only $10 less, so it doesn't really make much sense doing that. As a matter of fact, if you buy these programs separately, then you're looking at $140 for each program. And I hate to say it, but that's kind of a ripoff. But if you have a Mac, then you can get the iWork suite, which has Pages, Keynote, and Numbers. And the iWork suite is pretty much the same thing as Microsoft Office. Instead of having Word, it has Pages. Pages does word processing. Instead of PowerPoint, it has Keynote. Keynote does presentations. And instead of Excel, it has Numbers. Numbers does spreadsheets. And these three programs make up the iWork suite. And they're actually compatible with Microsoft Office. And so if you have Pages and someone gives you a Microsoft Word document, then you can import it into Pages and then export it back out of Pages as a Microsoft Word document. Same thing was with Keynote. If someone gives you a PowerPoint presentation, then you can import it into Keynote and then export it back out as a PowerPoint presentation. Same thing is true with Numbers. Someone gives you an Excel spreadsheet, import it into Numbers, and then export it back out again. So it's compatible, but not only that, but it's actually better. These programs can produce much more professional results than Microsoft Office. They actually have better graphics, and believe it or not, they're actually easier to use. So they're better, and yet they're easier. And so you'd think that since they're so much better and easier to use, you'd think they'd be more expensive, but they're actually less expensive. If you buy them on the Mac App Store, it's only $20 for each program. You can buy each program separately for $20. Now keep in mind, most people don't use PowerPoint and Excel. So most people aren't even going to use Keynote or Numbers. Most people just want to do word processing. And on a Mac, you can do word processing with Pages for just $20. And it's compatible with Word. It's even better than Word. But on a Windows computer, you have to spend at least $140 for Microsoft Word. So add that to the total cost of the computer. On a Windows computer, if you want to do word processing, you'd have to spend at least $140, but on a Mac, you're only spending $20 to do word processing. Now also, if you had a Windows computer and you had Windows XP on your computer, and let's say you wanted to upgrade to Windows Vista, you would have had to have spent at least $120 to upgrade. And then if you had wanted to upgrade up to Windows 7 after that, you would have spent another $120. So that's $240 for just those two upgrades. But if you have a Mac, and if you had Leopard on your computer, then if you had wanted to upgrade to the new operating system, which is called Snow Leopard, it was only $30. And then if you had wanted to upgrade to Lion, it was again only another $30. So that's only $60 for two upgrades of the operating system. So also add that to the total cost of the computer. On a Windows computer, you would have spent $240 for two upgrades, but on a Mac for two upgrades, it's only $60. Also, on a Windows computer, you need to get some antivirus software, which is about $40, but it only lasts for 1 year. If you have your computer for, say, 5 years, and you keep spending $40 per year in order to protect your computer from viruses, then you're looking at about $200 for antivirus software. But Macs don't get viruses. You don't have to spend any money on antivirus software. So add that to the total cost of the computer. $200 on a Windows computer, $0 on a Mac. Also, I had a Sony Vaio, and I bought Kaspersky Antivirus. Best Buy told me that this is the best antivirus at the time, and I installed it on my computer, and it was supposed to last for 1 year. And yet, in less than a year, I still got a virus on my computer, and Kaspersky could not fix the virus. So I took the computer into Best Buy, and I asked them if they could fix it and restore it back to the way it was. And so they told me that in order to get the virus off and restore everything back to the way that it used to be, it was going to cost $350 to fix it. Now, with antivirus installed, I shouldn't even be getting viruses. And yet, with antivirus installed, in less than a year, I still get a virus, and yet I have to pay all this money to fix it. Okay. Add that to the total cost of the computer. For fixing viruses, $350 for the Windows computer, $0 for the Mac. So add all of this up, and you'll find that in the long run, the Windows computer actually costs you $1,310, but the Mac will cost you $1,280. So the Windows computer actually costs you more money, and yet it's a cheaper computer. The Mac computer is higher quality. It's going to last you longer. It has much more features to it than the Windows computer, and yet it ends up costing you less. The Windows computer, which is cheaper, and it doesn't have as much quality to it, it ends up costing you more money than the Mac in the long run. And a lot of people don't seem to take this into consideration. So I thought I'd put this video together just to do a little math here and show how people think that Windows computers are cheaper. They're not cheaper. They're actually more expensive. Macs actually end up being cheaper in the long run. 5 years down the road, you're actually spending more money with the Windows computer. So that's all I wanted to show.